Hello, my friends. Welcome to English Spark. Let me ask you something. What if I told you that something sitting quietly in your kitchen right now once controlled the fate of empires? Something so small, so ordinary, so common. A grain of salt. Today we sprinkle salt on our food without thinking twice. But for thousands of years salt was one of the most valuable resources on Earth. People crossed deadly deserts to trade it. Cities were built because of it. Wars were fought over it. In some places salt was even worth its weight in gold. And entire trade routes stretching across continents were created for one simple purpose: salt. Yet the story of salt begins long before empires, long before trade routes. It begins with one of the most basic needs of the human body. The human body needs salt. Without it, our muscles cannot move properly. Our nerves cannot send signals. Our bodies cannot keep the right balance of water. Without salt, life cannot continue. Ancient humans discovered this long before science explained it. They noticed something interesting. Wild animals often traveled great distances to reach certain places in nature. Places where the soil tasted different. Places rich in minerals. Salt licks. Deer gathered there. Bison gathered there. Elephants gathered there. And where animals gathered, humans soon followed. Because early hunters understood something important. Where there is salt, there is life. But salt offered another discovery. One that would change human history forever. Salt could preserve food. Before refrigeration existed, food spoiled quickly. Meat could rot in a matter of days. Fish could become unsafe to eat. But salt changed everything. Salt slowed the growth of bacteria. Salt removed moisture. Salt preserved food. With salt, food could last for weeks, sometimes months. This meant food could travel. Food could feed armies. Food could support cities. And once people understood this, salt became more than a mineral. Salt became power. Soon communities began searching for it, mining it from underground deposits, collecting it from dried lakes, harvesting it from evaporated seawater. Salt production spread across the ancient world. And wherever salt appeared, trade soon followed. In ancient Egypt, salt helped preserve mummies. In China, salt production became a major industry more than 4,000 years ago. Chinese governments quickly realized how valuable salt was. So they created one of the earliest state monopolies in history. Only the government could control salt production, because controlling salt meant controlling wealth. In ancient Rome, salt was equally important. Roman soldiers were sometimes paid with money meant to buy salt. The word salary comes from the Latin word salarium, money used for salt. Salt became so valuable that Roman roads were built to transport it. One famous road was called the Via Salaria, the Salt Road. Across Africa, salt was sometimes worth its weight in gold. In the Sahara Desert, enormous caravans of camels carried giant slabs of salt across endless sand. Some journeys lasted weeks. Some lasted months. But the rewards were worth the danger, because salt meant survival. Salt meant wealth. Salt meant power. In the great trading city of Timbuktu, salt from the Sahara was traded for gold from West Africa. Salt and gold flowed through these markets like rivers of wealth. But salt also created anger. Because wherever something becomes valuable, people fight to control it. In medieval France, a heavy salt tax called the gabelle angered the population for centuries. People were forced to buy salt only from government stores at high prices. Smuggling salt became common, and the anger created by these taxes helped fuel the French Revolution. Salt also played a powerful role in the struggle for independence in India. In 1930, Mahatma Gandhi led a peaceful protest against British salt laws. The British government controlled salt production, even though salt came naturally from the sea. Gandhi walked more than 200 miles to the Indian Ocean. When he reached the shore, he picked up a handful of salt. This simple act became a powerful symbol of resistance. Millions joined the movement, and the Salt March became one of the most famous protests in modern history. Today, salt is everywhere. It is inexpensive, easy to obtain, often taken for granted. But behind every grain of salt is a story thousands of years old. A story of trade, of survival, of power. Salt preserved food. Salt built trade routes. Salt fueled revolutions. Salt helped shape the history of civilizations. It is astonishing to think that something so small could carry such enormous importance. The next time you sprinkle salt on your food, pause for a moment. Think about the journey that tiny crystal has taken. From ancient salt mines, to desert caravans, to royal taxes and revolutions, and finally to the quiet moment in your hands. Salt is not just seasoning. Salt is history. Salt is survival. Salt is power. Thank you for joining English Spark. Stay curious and keep discovering the hidden stories behind everyday things.